Hello, I'm Sally Pointer. It's a really quick video today. In my last instalment, about a month ago now, we looked at a couple of different ways of handling 4-plies in cordage. Now, I mentioned at the end of that there's also a couple of ways of doing this by braiding. So I'm just going to show you very quickly using yarn just to make the elements easy to see how you can handle those as an alternative to using twisted and laid cordage as a way of expanding your range of working with 4-plies. Whilst cordage methods are really useful, particularly with fibrous material, braiding can be more useful if you're working with fairly flat elements. So perhaps leather strip, rawhide, lime bast, all of these things can be very good uses for braided techniques. So we're going to do 2 variations on a 4-strand braid. I've just got 4 different colours of yarn, which I'm just going to pin to my leg without stabbing myself, because the 4 colours will make it easy to show you what's going on. Now, most of us will be familiar with a 3-strand braid. So if I just recap that, pretend those 2 are 1 strand. That's outside to middle, outside to middle, outside to middle, outside to middle. So it's 2 motions, 1 motion, 2 motions. When you're working a 4-strand braid, it sort of is still 2 motions, but you're going to do them double-handed. So we've got 4 elements: white, red, green and blue. We're going to twist the outside 2 elements in the same direction. So I'm going to go that way. And I just had a moment there where I couldn't remember whether I was going clockwise or anti-clockwise. That was anti-clockwise, wasn't it? And then with the middle elements are going to twist in the opposite direction. So clockwise. Let's do that again. Anti-clockwise, clockwise. So it's almost 2 motions, except we're using both hands at once. So we're twisting to the left with the outside 2 pairs, and then there's now a middle pair which we're going to twist to the right. Twist 1, twist 2, or cross them over even, if that makes more sense. But twist, twist. And quite quickly you can start doing this with a fairly efficient motion. Cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over. Cross over, cross over. As always, exactly how you hold your hands is a matter of personal preference. Everybody's hands work very slightly differently, but I'm using a finger to separate the 2 elements so that when I twist they stay nicely organised, and then I can just pass the middle 2 from one hand to the other. Now what this gives you is a flat braid. If we turn that sideways, you can see it's quite thin. Looks much the same on the back as it does on the front. I know I haven't got the tension very even on this at the moment, so I'll do a few more and we'll see how it comes on with a little bit of consistency. Having the ends pinned down does help to get a little light tension on things, which, if I was concentrating on the braid and not concentrating on talking to you lovely people, would mean that I could get up a real head of speed on this, and it would start coming through at a really nice even tension. That's a little bit better there. So the 4 colours are zigzagging back and forth across, and they change colour one after the other on the edges. So blue, green, white, red, blue, green, white, red. So you'll soon see, if you practice with different colours, whether it's working out or not. So that one is really straightforward. It's a very nice, easy way of making a little bit of trimming, A flat drawstring can be very nice as things like a bag tie. It's quite good for things like hairbands as well, or little, sweatbands and things, hat bands. Quite a nice way of using 4 elements without going to the trouble of actually cording to give you a flat result. Now, the second one I want to show you is another way of using 4 elements, but this one is going to give us a round braid. So in this case, I've just got 2 colours, the red and the white. I'm going to do the same thing again. Just going to pin that down. Now with these ones, it's all about swapping over. So one set you're going to cross right to left, and the other set you're going to cross left to right. Doesn't really matter which, as long as you're consistent. So I'm going to choose with my red ones to cross those over left over right. The white I'm going to cross over, and they're going to go in the gap between the 2, and that's going to go right over left. So the red we're doing left over right, and then the white is going to go right over left, left over right, right, come on, out of the way, right over left, left over right, right over left. Again, 2 colours really helps you see what you're doing as you get started. Now, what you're doing is you're essentially making 2 cords that are twisted another direction, in opposite directions, so they lock together as you go. Left over right, right over left, left over right, right over left. Okay. If you were to do them in the same direction, this would untwist and unlock as you do it. But as it stands, you're getting a nice striped effect, which shows up because we're using 2 shades. If you were doing this in a plain colour of leather or lime bast, all you'd essentially be getting is this nice locked together round braid. Now, when you first do this, you are going to keep looking at going, are those crossed over? Yes, they're crossed over. Which element am I doing? Left over right, right over left. There's always a little bit of talking yourself through it when you start on a round braid. Left over right, right over left, left over right, right over left. But as with all these things, you will pick up a head of speed after a while, and you'll be able to do it quite unconsciously. If it sort of goes wrong, can you see here that those are trying to turn into individual twists? That just means that one of those elements I just didn't cross in the right direction. So it's that one. See, I've gone right over left there. So left over right, right over left, left over right, right over left. And that's back to normal again. So very quick video today. As I said, this is really just winding up the methods of using 4 strands, and it's quite a useful addition to your repertoire to have a couple of braiding techniques as well as just cordage techniques. There's always situations where you might want something that's a little bit more decorative or has a different texture. It's going to grip in different ways. And also with these, the plies aren't going to untwist. With cordage, if you twist opposite to the direction that the cord's been laid in, it generally undoes. Braiding doesn't do that, and that can be an incredibly useful thing in certain situations. So that's that for this month. We've got a flat 4-strand braid and we've got a round 4-strand braid. Hopefully in the next video I'm going to be able to tell you about a really interesting Stone Age project I'm working on at the moment. No spoilers at this moment because it's still very much a work in progress, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. Until then, happy braiding, happy hedge bothering, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.